Now we are going to start with the electron displacements. So what happened? Whenever any attacking reagent approaches to an organic compound, I repeat, whenever some attacking reagent approaches to an organic compound and the organic compound that contain the carbon bonded to another carbon with a covalent bond, then we see a certain kind of, you can say, a shuffling of electrons. We see certain kind of electron displacements. So at what condition do we observe? We observe when some attacking reagent is coming to an organic compound and that organic compound contain a carbon-carbon at least a single bond or a double or a triple covalent bond. It may present because it depends that what kind of you can say the type of electron displacement we are talking about. So the only condition is that there should be a carbon-carbon covalent bond and attacking reagent should approach it, right. So whenever attacking reagent approaches an organic compound which contain at least a carbon-carbon single bond, we see a certain kind of electron shuffling, that is the electron displacements. Those we are going to study in this chapter, that what kind of electron displacement we can see actually. So depending upon that we have different kinds of effect depending upon that how the displacements are carried out. So we have different effects like we have inductive effect, we have electromagnetic effect, we have resonance effect, and the subcategory of the resonance is the hyperconjugation. So we will be taking these effects one by one, and you should also concentrate on these effects because they play an important role in organic chemistry, right. So first we are starting with the inductive effect. First I will explain you, then we will come to the definition of the statement. So what happens if we see a bond between, like if I have a structure like this, right, and if I say that we know that the bond between carbon and hydrogen or the electrons which are shared between carbon and hydrogen are actually symmetrical. They are actually symmetrical because the electronegativity of carbon and hydrogen is almost similar. But when we talk of you can say this type of compound, that means we have replaced this hydrogen with some electronegative element. Right. So what happens here, the distribution of electron is not symmetrical because here is there because in this there is an electronegativity difference. Because in this there is an electronegativity difference. That means one is more electronegative and less other is less electronegative. So if we talk in this, then we know that this X, let's say that this is an halogen. So we know that halogen is electronegative as compared to the carbon. So what happened, being electronegative in nature, it will attract this shared pair more towards itself. It will attract the shared pair more towards itself. So as a result what will happen, it will increase the electron density on that X, right. So as a result it will acquire a partial negative charge. Now the shared pair has gone away from the carbon atom. Right. So that means its electron density is being decreased. So it will acquire a partial positive charge. I think you got it. Again I will explain you. If we talk about carbon and hydrogen bond, the electron distribution is something symmetrical because we know that there is no such not much electronegativity difference between the carbon and hydrogen. But if we talk about, if we replace this hydrogen with some halogen, say X, and we know that halogens are an electronegative group with all the halogens actually. So what happened, they will show their electronegativity behavior. How? They will attract the shared pair more towards itself. As a result, the electron density will increase on this X and it will acquire a partial negative charge. Now, because electrons are taken away from this carbon, let's number this carbon as 1, 2, 3 and 4. So because the electrons are taken away from this C1, so as a result electron density will decrease somehow. As a result it will acquire a partial positive charge, right. You know that because we have already done polarity, you know that this was happening in polarity as well. Now what happens in this inductive effect? This C1 actually attract this shared pair because it is positively charged, so it has an attraction for the negative things, right. So that means it will somehow attract this electron pair between C1 and C2 bond. So as a result we see that because though they are same in electronegativity, but they are not same in the charges. As we can see, C2 is neutral and C1 is slightly positive. It has an attraction for the negative one. So it will attract the shared pair more towards itself. So as a result the shared pair gets slightly displaced towards the C1. So as a result some amount of this positive charge gets neutralized and as a result it acquired, the C2 acquired also a positive charge. as this magnitude of this positive charge is less as compared to the positive charge which appeared on C1, but still it is present. So now what it will do, this C2 will again attract the electron between C2 and C3 pair, they will get slightly displaced. So as a result, some of the charge of the C2 will get neutralized and it will acquire a slightly positive charge which will be less in the magnitude as compared to C2, but still it will develop. So this is going to happen along the chain. This is going to happen along the chain because it has withdrawn the electrons, it has acquired a positive charge, now it is withdrawing an electron, it has acquired a positive charge, it is withdrawing an electron, it acquires a positive charge. So that means this is something called as a shift in the electron towards the electronegative atom. What do you observe actually? There is a shift of electrons towards the electronegative atom, and when it happens, it happens only when an electronegative element is here. So we can say there is a shift of shared pair of electrons throughout the chain of the carbon atoms. It actually you can say that this magnitude of charge is sufficient, is enough only till C3 or C4. C3 you can say carbon atom. After that the magnitude decreases so much that we don't take this effect into consideration. So we see that that it happens maximum up to C3 or C4. In some books you will find that C3 to C4 carbon atom, that's it. It doesn't happen more than that. So this is what is an inductive effect. I think you got it. So what is the essential condition for that? There should be an electronegative element. One, this is the essential condition because otherwise we won't be able to see the inductive effect. Second thing is that when it is not seen in the CH bond, there is no displacement in the CH bond as such. Third, magnitude of charge goes on decreasing. We have observed actually the magnitude of charge goes on decreasing as we compare the charge of C3 and C1. We have seen that it has partial positive charge and it has partial positive. That means the magnitude is something less. So that means the magnitude of charge keeps on decreasing as we move away from the electronegative element. So this is what is the inductive effect. So now I think you got it. So now we are in a situation to define or just look for the statement of the inductive effect. So what is that? It is the permanent displacement, as you have seen, because this halogen, this X element will be keep on in contact with the chain because it is being attached. So this movement of shared pair is the permanent effect. That means it is not that it happens one time and on the other second the positive negative charge all vanish out. Now no, it's not like that, right? So what happened? It is a permanent displacement because as long as this halogen will be there will be a permanent withdrawing of the electron nature. Second, what is that? It is the permanent displacement of electron towards electronegative element which is attached to the carbon chain, right? And this electron displacement occurred throughout the chain. It actually occurred throughout the chain. So this is what is the electron displacement, or sorry, the inductive effect, or you can say the electron displacement type, that is the inductive effect. Now we have seen that we have two types of inductive effect. One is plus I effect, other is minus I effect. Now what is the difference between these two effects? It actually depends upon the group which is attached to the end of the carbon chain. It depends, like if the group is something, let's say if it is X, it is showing the minus I effect. If it is something else, Y, say, it is showing the plus I effect. It just depends upon the groups which are attached. So now how the groups determine that it is the plus I effect or the minus I effect? Now this is the question which we have to look for. So what happened is, plus I effect is shown by the groups which are less electronegative than hydrogen. That means they are less electronegative as compared to the hydrogen. So what are those groups? These are those groups, these ones. So as you can see that we know that alkyl group is electron donating, not the withdrawing ones. So more is the alkyl group, that means more is the electron donating nature, not the withdrawing one. And now this is two alkyl groups, one alkyl groups, one we can say that 3 degree, 2 degree, 1 degree. This is again methyl group and this is a hydrogen. So that means these all groups when attached to the carbon atom, end of the carbon atom, they show actually plus I effect. And minus I effect are shown by the groups which are more electronegative than hydrogen. They are somehow more electronegative than hydrogen, and I have these groups grouped in order, in sequence, and see this actually show a maximum minus I effect followed by NO2, CN, SO3H, carboxylic acid, halogens, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, hydroxide group, ethoxy or methoxy or any alkoxy group. This is C6H5. These all are more electronegative than hydrogen, so they show minus I effect, right. So this is actually the inductive effect and the order of the groups, that how they show the plus I or the minus I effect. Now you must be thinking that what is the benefit of learning this inductive effect, like where it is playing a role. So you should know that it has been, you can say, we have successfully proved stabilities of certain, you can say, the intermediates based on the inductive effect. And even we come to know the polarity also, because it is explaining something, the concept polarity also. So these all are the applications of the inductive effect where we use the inductive effect. So one is to know the stability of the intermediates, second is to know the polarity of the bonds. So this is what is the inductive effect. I think you got it. So again, in a short span, I'll just repeat for you. So whenever there is a CH bond, there is a symmetrical in nature, so no electron displacement. But when H is replaced by an halogen, bond becomes polar because it is an electronegative. It will attract shared pair towards itself. As a result, partial negative, partial positive. This will attract electron of this pair. It will acquire again a partial positive charge, and somehow this charge gets neutralized. Then again this, so it goes up to C3 or C4 carbon atoms. So it is actually a permanent displacement of the electron towards the electronegative atom attached to the carbon chain, and this electron displacement or a shift in the electrons occur throughout the chain, or you can say it is maximum up to C4th carbon atom. And we have the groups which are actually you can say less electronegative than hydrogen. They show plus I effect because they are electron donating, not the withdrawing ones. And minus I effect is shown by the groups which are more electronegative than hydrogen, and this is our sequence. Coming to the applications, I told you that it helps in explaining the stability of many intermediates, and moreover it helps in knowing the polarity of the bonds, that what is the concept of polarity. And I told you about the conditions also which are must for the inductive effect. One, there should be an electronegative element. Second, there should not be any displacement between CH bond. The displacement is always between C and electronegative bond, right. That means the effect take place only when there is an electronegative atom which is attached to the carbon atom. Third, the magnitude of charge goes on decreasing, and we can see it only up to the 4th carbon, because after that the magnitude of charge is too low to consider. So this is what is the inductive effect. So now we are starting with the second effect, that is the electromeric effect, right. So just look at the board carefully.